Says it's live.
Yeah. All right, man. Hey, first and foremost, we're gonna start this lesson by giving all praises, glory, and honor to do unto Yahweh, Bahasham,
Bahashem,
Shai,
Shai,
Barakashah, Barakadash.
Barkadash.
Double honors to the apostles, bishops, and others, a great son of all well, and shalom to the Lord's elect, okay, Yahweh Shai's elect, aka the elect of Israel, starting with 144,000. Yeah, man. Today's lesson, Lord willing, is going to be an edifying one in the spirit. I'm here with the brother Ratazam off, we're from the GMS UK camp and branch. And today we're going to go into understanding the mark of the beast for dummies. Because, there's certain dummies out there who don't know how to, who are so-called teachers, doing live streams, taking phone calls, and then completely butchering what the mark of the beast is, you know? So, you know, starting with our apostles and elders, we've been teaching what the mark of the beast is, which is the implantable chip. Okay. And yeah, we're going to go into it in this lesson. We're going to touch upon Revelation 13 and go from there, man. So, yeah, bro, let's start with the first verse and then we'll go from there. We're just going to zoom through Revelation 13 quick. And then we're going to build up to get into to the 16th verse, which is where the mark of the beast prophecy is.
Yep. So it's Revelation 13 from the top. And I stood upon the sand of the sea and saw a beast rise up out of the sea, having 7 heads and 10 horns, and upon his horns 10 crowns, and upon his heads the names of blasphemy.
Right. And that beast is pretty much, this is a system that we're in, a system of power ruled by the Edomites, and there's a whole history about how that came into power. Okay. Now, the 7 heads, all right, I'm going to go into the 7 heads and the 10 horns. The 7 heads, you have, help me out if I miss any, bro, yeah? You got the French Empire,
Okay.
you had the Spanish, you had the Greeks, you got the Romans, you got Germania Major, Germania Minor, and the British. Did I miss any?
Yeah, I think you got them all.
Okay, so that's
I mean,
the
major, minor, Italy, Greece, France, Spain, and Britain.
kind. So those are the heads. Now the modern day 10 horns. So you've got the list there already.
Yeah.
Yeah, you might as well just read the list from there if you already got it in your notes.
Okay, and yeah, the
You can
10 horns.
as well. The Lombards, um, the
The
uh,
Visigoths.
Visigoths, the Suevi. There's different. There's the ancient names of them as well. But we're going to go into
Mhm.
the modern names of how they set up the EU, because the beast is NATO and EU. That's the beast. That's that system. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, it says the 10 horns represent the common market or the EEC, European Economic Community, as originally comprised of Belgium, Denmark, France, Italy, Luxembourg, Netherlands, Greece, Spain and Portugal, England and Ireland, and West Germany.
Yeah, and Spain and Portugal, you notice, and England and Ireland are together. They're one. Okay, so that's what this beast is talking about. All right, keep going, bro.
Yeah. So it says, verse 2 it says, and the beast which I saw was like unto a leopard, and his feet were as the feet of a bear, and his mouth as the mouth of a lion. And the dragon gave him his power and his seat and great authority.
Right.
And
So the the leopard represents Alexander the Greek. Okay, that was an Edomite empire. All
mhm,
right. The bear represents Russia. Okay, the Russians will have a big part in prophecy in taking down America. Okay, they're like the number one enemy, if you will, of America, and they also in prophecy. That's in Ezekiel 38, I believe, and goes into that. Yeah, go ahead. Oh, sorry. The mouth of the lion is Britain. Okay.
mhm.
And the mother. Okay. There's different ways that Britain's referenced the mother. Okay. That that's gonna that that America came out from, and also the mouth of the lion. You look at the UK. It's funny. You even got the whole the lion thing. Trafalgar Square's got lions. You got that whole thing with the lions, man. But yeah, prophetically here, that's talking about Britain, the mouth of the lion. Okay, and the ancient Roman Empire gave its power onto the modern Roman Empire, which we're in now, the dragon. Okay, we're in the beast system now, which is based on the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, and it's based on a Roman system, the political system, everything about it is a Roman system.
Mm.
Go ahead up.
Yep. So continuing on, it says, verse 3, it says, "And I saw one of his heads as it were wounded to death, and his deadly wound was healed, and all the world wondered after the beast."
Yeah.
And
So at one point, the Edomites ruled the Roman Empire. They got taken down. Okay, Jake started coming up into power. We started what they call the medieval period or the Dark Ages. We ruled all that. Constantinople, okay, Constantine, okay. When people read about the Council of Nicaea and all that, that was all Jake, okay. Justinian and all that. We ruled in the Roman. We took over, okay. The first Israelite ruler that came into being Caesar in Rome was Nerva in 96 AD. Okay, and so on and so forth, man. All right, Marcus Aurelius, eventually down the line, Septimius Severus, so on and so forth. Yeah, go ahead. Up.
verse 4 says, "And they worshipped the dragon, which gave power unto the beast. And they worshipped the beast, saying, Who is like unto the beast, who is able to make war with him?"
Right now, you've got what modern day EU and NATO. Okay, the beast posturing around the world. Who's able to make war with the beast? Okay, and who's the big head of NATO? Who's the big bully? That's America.
Hmm.
Okay, who's able to make war with America? Who's able to stand up to America and that whole system? Okay, that has control over the world. Now, one of the biggest enemies of NATO that consistently keeps coming up in news and propaganda is what? Russia. Again, Russia has a
So,
big place to play in prophecy. Yeah. By the way, Ark, if you got any precepts, anything you want to bring out in the meantime, any points, just bring it out.
come, bro.
But yeah, well, obviously we're just trying to zoom through this. But anything you want to say, just say it. Innit? But yeah, keep going
Come.
up.
Yep, verse 5, it says, "And there was given unto him a mouth speaking great things and blasphemies, and power was given him to continue 40 and 2 months."
Yeah, man. And, that's that's this devil, man. Okay,
Hmm.
seeing what's happening in America. You have the slavery, the transatlantic slave trade. Okay, of the Israelites, the so-called Negroes, Hispanics, and Native Americans. Okay, all kinds of lies have been told, all kind of blasphemy towards the Most High, all kind of images being put up of false Messiah. Okay, all right, and it said what they continued. What was it? 44 and 2. What was it again?
40 and 2 months, 42 months.
Represents 350-year period of time. Okay,
Hmm.
um,
That's it.
what's that? 350 years,
Six, 1620 to 1970.
1619, 1620 to
60, yeah,
1909.
6020, yeah, 1970.
Yeah, which you had what Plymouth Rock, the Puritans, and all that, and pretty much leading up to this truth. This truth being High Priest Eldar Bivens, the Israelites coming back into their nationality, the truth being revealed, the Old and New Testament together, the full, you know, the whole package, man. You know, and
Hmm.
and we've been raising on our feet ever since, preparing for the return of our Lord. Okay, Yahweh Shai, go ahead up.
Yeah, yeah. That's it. Yeah, because that's that 1970 period. It's a pivotal period in prophecy, man. It speaks about when I set thy nest among the stars, from thence will I bring thee down. Right. And when you look at so many different aspects of the bringing down of this man's kingdom, right? A lot of stuff morally, financially, right? There are major things that happened in and around that 1970s period, man. You know. Um Continuing on, right? Revelation 13 and 6 says, "And he opened his mouth and blasphemed against the Most High, to blaspheme his name and his tabernacle and them that dwell in heaven. And it was given unto him to make war with the saints and to overcome them, and power was given him over all kindreds, tongues, and nations."
So I just want
And
to stop you
yep.
there, yeah. By the way, the saints are the Israelites, okay, and that's where the number one problem on the Edomites' radar. Okay, the elites, they know that we're the chosen people of the Lord. Okay, we're the Israelites, and they don't like that. They want to do everything they can to eradicate us. What Psalms 83 goes into that, the enemies
Hmm.
of the Lord. Okay, they want to get rid of us. Okay, but they can't. They can't. They're trying to fulfill for certain prophecies like going up into space, going up into trying to dig out of the earth. They can't fulfill it. Okay, and this what we're about to read, right? The prophecy of the mark of the beast. The reason why we're reading up all this now is because I'm trying to build up a picture of what we're dealing with here. We're dealing with um, an Edomite, okay, the so-called white man that runs the earth right now, okay, the elite families, the Rockefellers, the Rothschilds, so on and so forth, who have got God complexes, okay, but they're just men. So what does a mortal man who has a God complex and all the money and all the technology in the world want to do? They want to do everything they possibly can to become Superman, to become a god, to become Kal El, all power. Okay, even in the comic books and all, they show you that with actual Superman, one of his biggest nemesis is Lex Luthor, right? Lex Luthor represents the elites. If you think about it, the guy's got all the wealth, right? He
Hmm.
got no powers, right? He's wiser than Daniel, right? As it says in the scriptures, he's got a lot of knowledge, right? And what does he do with that? He builds all these technological suits. He plays all these kind of games to take and destroy Superman. Okay, so that's essentially where this is Lex Luthor out here, man.
Hmm.
Okay? They're trying to use their technology to try and become on that powerful level, but that's not their blessing. The blessing is for our people. Okay, going back to
That's
Genesis
it.
27, we're the ones that are the all power to be. The gods. You know, ye are gods, but you shall die like men. Is that scripture? Do you have a precept?
Oh, no, no.
Okay, okay. I thought you said the precept. Yeah, so that's it on that, bro. Yeah, keep going on.
Yep. So back in Revelation 13 and 8, it says, "And all that dwell upon the earth shall worship him, whose names are not written in the book of life of the Lamb slain from the foundation of the world."
Well, that's funny
Uh,
because ones that are written in the book of life, yeah, which are the elect, are not going to worship the beast, right? They're not going to worship his image. We're not going to believe in his philosophies and be dazzled and razzled and go with it. And what does that all lead up to? And then not take the mark of the beast, okay?
mm,
Because why would you take the mark of the beast? One of the things of why you might take the mark of the beast, okay, is first of all you got to believe the hand that feeds. You got to believe in this system that is giving you this. Its philosophies, its power.
mm,
It must have the right thing. It must know what's good for you, right? By giving you this chip. That's how people are gonna think. When they ain't getting fed, they're gonna look to the government.
yeah,
They're
but
gonna look to the system. Okay, well,
yeah,
what we're gonna do that's different to all them. We have the hopeful elect. We're gonna be like, well, we already know what it is. We're gonna trust in Yahweh Shemiel Shai as we've done. Okay. Oh, well, what's that? You're hungry? You can't eat, man. The Lord will sort me out. Okay, the Lord
mm,
will anything miraculous things. The Lord will be able to do it, and you have faith that way. Not in faith in
yeah,
the system, not faith in Esau's power. Not because essentially by doing that, what you're doing is you're accepting Esau as your God. Is you gonna say something? Now?
yeah. Kind of. It's wanted to once again reiterate just one of the points that some of the elders make, which is we're in a relative echo chamber because for us we're like, "No, why would anyone take the mark of the beast?" But really, when you speak to these people in the world, they just see this stuff as technology. You know, same way I remember when the jab came out. Well, people they didn't even think twice. They didn't blink twice. I was like, oh, I'm just gonna go get it. Despite all of the different conversations about it, they were just like, man, it is what it is. I don't know if any of the people you've worked with, bro, but like with this whole digital ID thing, I'll be just out. I remember I was just at the job, and then people just like, oh, what do you call it? Other countries have had it for ages. I don't get what the big deal is, and that's just the mindset of a lot of these people. They just see it as tech, you
Right?
know.
Yeah, they can't wait.
Mm,
You tell people, look, man, they might implement this with AI, and your brain's getting all mashed up. you know, they like the idea of that. Oh, I'm gonna
yeah,
print AI, you know, because
they're
they're,
like,
they're,
oh,
they're
that would never happen.
part of why we call them bots. They're robots, man.
Mhm.
They're already chipped, pretty much. Nah,
Basically,
they're not, but in their mind, they pretty much might as well be, but they will
yeah,
be. A lot of these people will be, man. They'll be queuing up, happy.
they're ready for it.
Hey, get ready to see people smiling,
Hmm.
queuing for the chips, like it's
Yeah,
a like
and
it's a fad. I'm gonna get a chip today. That's how
yeah.
people are gonna
Well,
be.
once again, we've had the example, right? The Lord gave us a perfect example of when the jab came out. It is true. It became an idol. Okay. Now I remember being in a meeting once, and it was a Nige Jake as well, man. It was. And you should have seen his face, man. He was like, "Oh, I'm gonna be out later. I'm going to go get my shot." And he just had this big grin on his face, bro. I was there like, okay.
What it represents. For him, the
Yep.
shot represents security,
Hmm.
safety. For us, the shot represents death,
Hmm.
lies, murder.
That's
Anyway,
it.
let's not get into that for the medical,
Yeah,
um,
yeah, yeah. If I
yeah.
can grab, oh, which one should I grab? Let me grab this one, right? Isaiah 31 from the top, right? It says, woe to them that go down to Egypt for help, right? And stay on horses and trust in chariots because they are many, and on horsemen because they are very strong, but they look not unto the Holy One of Israel, neither seek Yahweh, right? Which was just, go once again going into, this idea of like how you have our people that will look and have looked before, are looking and will look to Esau for help and salvation, right? And that's gonna annoy the Lord, which is why ultimately they just gonna be left out there to dry, hung out to dry, man. You know.
Yep. Is it that on that?
Yep.
Could you quickly just get Ezekiel 28, Babak Shah, about Esau's God complex?
Yep. So Ezekiel 28 from the top says the word of Yahweh came again unto me, saying, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a power, I send a seat of the Most High, right in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
I don't know if it's just me, but the volume went down a lot.
Okay,
On your mic.
one
I don't know
sec.
if it's just me though. I don't know if it's just my
It,
technology.
it might not be. My Chrome likes to be smart.
Hello, did it say again?
Chrome likes to be too smart. That might be too loud now. Is that okay?
Nah, that's same. It's the same. Could just be me, bro. I don't know. If anyone's watching, if you can't hear, just say. Let's say. You know. Yeah. Could you read the second verse again, Babak Shah?
Yeah, it says Ezekiel 28 and 2 says, Son of man, say unto the prince of Tyrus, Thus saith the Lord power, because thine heart is lifted up, and thou hast said, I am a God, I sit in the seat of the Most High, in the midst of the seas, yet thou art a man and not God, though thou set thine heart as the heart of God.
Yeah. So this man is setting himself, the modern prince of Tyrus, which is the Esau. He's setting himself as God. He wants to be the Most High, man. There's another scripture in Isaiah 14 that goes into that. The guy's got a God complex. Okay. Now, one of the things about the Lord here is that the Lord has control over you. Okay. Scriptures say the Lord guides us, directs the steps, so on and so forth.
Mm,
Okay. Lord can, you know, the hair, the very hair on your head is numbered. Okay. Esau wants that in the best way that he can possibly do. He wants to know what your body temperature is at all times. He wants to know how many times. I remember a brother said this years ago. How many times you thrust your woman?
yeah, yeah, yeah.
How much carbon dioxide did you breathe out that day? Like, he wants to know all that. Okay, and the only way that he can so-called achieve that, is through his technology. Now,
Hmm.
we know that when he brings that technology out, that chip in its full force, everything's going to move quick. So we're not going to be here for no 5, 10 years and chips are out there, and then people are just walking around. No, everything's going to move quick when that microchip comes out. Okay, but that's what this devil wants. He wants complete control. Okay, over
Hmm.
what you eat, what you do, everything. Okay, like how the whole thing about you shall eat the bugs. You're gonna have to look, man. You're gonna get rationed. You're gonna get certain things you're gonna be able to only eat just to get by. Okay, some people are gonna be doing better than others according to what Esau wants. His elites want. Some people can not do as well. Okay, and then also you're gonna get the people like us who are not gonna be on that are not gonna take the chip. Okay, yeah, keep going, bro.
That's it.
Oh yeah, let's go.
It's quite a strong echo.
Yeah, something's definitely changed. I don't know what it was, but something changed. Your volume's gone up a bit again.
Yeah, yeah, it's Chrome likes to be smart and tries to lower your microphone sometimes.
Okay. But you've gone back to how it was before in terms of the actual volume.
Can.
It's
Yeah,
good.
the echo's gone now.
Okay.
Yeah, to answer the question on the comment board, right? The answer is no, right? The devil can't do anything without the Most High's permission. Okay, all things are. In fact, if I can grab that real quick, just to answer that point, this is Sirach 18:3, right? It says, "Who governeth the world with the palm of his hands, and all things obey his will. For he is the king of all, by his power dividing holy things among them from profane." Right. So the Most High is in control of everything, right? Everything what we're playing out, which is why ultimately we say what Esau's doing is hilarious and futile because he's still playing to the Most High's will, he's playing to the Most High's tune.
Esau got given a blessing of the sword. He is the Lord's sword. Is a whipping stick to correct us. That's in Psalm 17 and 13.
Yep,
Let's get that as well quickly, well, sure.
you can, bro.
I didn't see the question because of how my setup is.
Okay,
Was he asking about Esau or Satan?
it just can the devil do anything without the Most High's permission?
You're talking about the devil as in like these Edomites, which they're devils. Okay. Then yeah, the brothers, which this answers everything anyway. Your scripture, the Lord controls everything. Controls these Edomites. Okay, just like He
Mm-hmm.
controls Pharaoh, just like He hardened his heart. The Lord controls everything. At the same time, if you're talking about the spiritual demon Satan, that he also answers and is controlled by the Lord.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and that's in Job the first and second chapter. Okay, because he basically tells him, look, you can do this, but you can't do that. Sets boundaries and limits for Satan. That answers that in that as well.
That's it. And to be fair, I think it's because it's then the follow up is why do we blame the devil? So I think it's that it was trying to be a 1-2 combo, of like, can the devil do anything without the Most High's permission? No. So why do we blame the devil? Look, man, look, we're dealing with the Most High, man. Look at Israel, right? Look at our nation, right? The Lord made us go off, and then He put us into captivity for going off.
That's like going to a theater, watching a play, and watching the evil character do something evil and say, but why is he doing something evil?
Mm,
His role is to play the evil guy.
that's it.
When all is said and done and he's in the spirit realm, that's it. Do you know what I mean? Whenever when the
Mm,
curtains are drawn and they're back with their costumes on, okay, everyone's just there. Everyone's that's in what's that in Job as well, you know, ain't no one oppressing anyone there. That's the place of that order happening is on earth. Okay, even though in the spiritual realm there's levels. Okay, you know. But
that's
if you're
it.
asking, yeah, why we're doing what we're doing, we're just playing our role. Whatever the role that the Lord wants us to play, that's what we're doing. Our role happens to be the Israelites.
Mm,
We're the Israelites. We're the chosen people of the Lord.
that's it. And we're hoping to be of the elect. And it says of the elect, man, they didn't do anything with the
Hey,
good pleasure of His will.
that's it. And you was already chosen from the foundation of the earth. You was
Mm,
already chosen from the beginning. You know. So I mean, that's like that's one of them most high questioning questions. Like
mm,
you know,
uh-huh.
take it up with God. We've
That's it.
answered the question, but you know, take it up with the architect of all,
That's
the
it.
screenwriter and producer and director of all. You
Yep.
know,
So
but we answered the question. We answered the question.
yeah, so can I grab this as well, real quick? It says is it no, it's what is it? My ways are not your ways.
Yeah, yeah. I think it will come up
So
if you just Google that.
55 and 8. Yeah, well, yeah, I was in the 11. Right. So Isaiah 55 and 8. So for my thoughts are not your thoughts, neither are your ways my ways, saith the Lord. For as the heavens are higher than the earth, so are my ways higher than your ways, and my thoughts than your thoughts. Right. So as the brother's going into, there are certain things which is this is just um the what you call it, this is just the will of the Lord, right? If the Lord has a story written somewhere, that's all we're doing. We're just playing out the Most High story, right?
Simple. There's levels to understanding and wisdom. When the Apostle Paul was teaching the churches, he said, "Look, there's some things that he'd want to." I'm loosely paraphrasing. There's certain things that he want to tell you, but it's just too spiritual,
Yep.
and that's the Apostle Paul. Now, Yahushua
Oh,
the Apostle Paul directly, right?
it's
When
a bad
Yahushua
word
was on the
precept.
scene, Yahushua was spitting out certain parables. People were getting messed up. They wouldn't want to kill him. Even the disciples didn't really fully know. He had to break it down to the disciples on the on the side. That's Yahushua, right? Now Yahushua said that no man knoweth the hour, not even him. Okay, so there's things that Yahushua doesn't know and the angels don't know that Yahweh knows. there's, there's levels to knowledge, man. There's levels to
Mm.
understand things and why things are. Okay, Yahushua said to the Pharisees, okay, I am from above, ye are from below.
Mm-hmm.
Yahweh Shai said that, and he sits on the right hand of Yahweh. Everything's given unto Yahweh Shai. But
That's it.
he acknowledges his father, Yahweh, the Most High.
Got a precept. It says, 1 Corinthians 3 from the top, and our brethren could not speak unto you as unto spiritual, but as unto carnal, even as unto babes in Mashiach. I fed you with milk and not with meat, for hitherto you were not able to bear it, neither yet are ye now able.
Yeah, so there's certain questions that people ask, yeah. The thing is, yeah, are you really ready to hear the answer? That's what you need to, you got to think of, meditate on that. Like, you ask these deep questions, yeah, but what about this? Okay, here's the answer then. Are you ready for that, though? You know?
Yeah.
When the Apostle Paul went up into the third heaven, which is the spiritual realm, yeah, he said that he couldn't utter it, basically, man. That shit was too wonder. That was out there. That's a spiritual realm, you know.
Mm.
There's just certain things that are just like there's certain things that are just too. There's certain things that are just too high. There's certain things that just can't be.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? You
That's it.
that's like to ask a question like that. We've answered it, but we've answered it in the best way that we can, according to the knowledge that we have given it or the level that we have been given by the Lord. Okay, we're not sitting there with the Most High having a friendly chat, knowing everything.
Hey, it goes a lot where you made me think because in certain times the prophets were quote unquote rebuked for that. Or was it
Oh
fact,
yeah,
let me
Job,
yeah.
Ezra's.
Ezra, yeah, that's the one I was thinking of.
You know, can you bring back yesterday? Can you measure the
Mm.
weight of a flame? Did
Can
you,
I can
did
I
you make
grab
the
that?
heavens and the earth? Did you this? Was you, there's all kind of the Lord's got them scriptures, man.
Mm.
Before the mountains were, I was, and all that. Lord's got them like them gangster scriptures.
That's it. That's it. That's it.
I'm bad, man. Don't you know? Anyway, I don't want to spend too much time on this, man. We answered the question. Let's get to the. We've got people to edify.
That's it. That's it. That's it. And that's really the main what the brother's going into in today's lesson is really the main questions that people need to be worrying about, which is what is the mark of the beast.
That's beautiful. That you 100%
You
right.
know.
What is the mark of the beast? What do I need to do to be saved from this mark of the beast thing situation? This test. How do I pass this test?
Mm.
Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah. So back in Revelation 13 and 9, it says, if any man have an ear, let him hear. He that leadeth into captivity shall go into captivity. He that killeth with the sword must be killed with the sword. Here is the patience and the faith of the saints.
When it says the saints, talking about the Israelites, you might as well take out saints and put the same thing if you had the Israelites there. That's what it's talking about.
Mm.
Here's the patience and the faith of the saints of the Israelites, because we're the ones that have been through the transatlantic slave trade, kill with a sword, all of that. And you know what? There's a payment. There's a recompense for that. Okay, go ahead.
Yep. It says, verse 11, it says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
And the thing is, that question that person asked you, it could be sincere and all that. I'm just saying, like, that's for another lesson, man. Okay,
Mm.
but there's many lessons done on that from our apostles on down, you know. But right now we're going into the mark of the beast. We're going to continue with this topic. Go ahead.
That's it. It says, and I beheld another beast coming up out of the earth, and he had two horns like a lamb, and he spake as a dragon.
That's that
Uh,
ancient Roman system. Okay, you had the what's it?
Patrician plebeians and
Plebeians and the patricians. That's
yeah,
right. And one was for the so-called more for the working class, more was something for the for the people. One was more for like the upper class and all that. middle class, or whatever, so on and so forth. Okay, now um, that same system is here today. You got two party systems. You know, Democrats, Republicans. Okay, conservative, Labour, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, and people go out to vote. They believe in that system. They're like, I'm gonna vote. Who did you vote for? What? You voted for Trump? Fuck you. You know, women out there saying they won't date guys that are MAGAs. There's all
Yeah,
kinds
yeah,
of
yeah,
divides
yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
There's all kinds of divides, which this is all part of the Lord's plan to cause divisions. You know, but we don't even vote. First of all, that's against the law. You can't put no heathen above you.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, vote. Okay, go in some ballot box and putting up a vote. We don't believe.
Yeah.
We don't believe. One of the it's going to go into the image of the beast layer, yeah, which is the philosophy of the system, this beast system, yeah. One of the philosophies, one of the top philosophies, is democracy. We don't believe in democracy, and this isn't really democracy anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, that is a wicked philosophy. Okay, you know what we believe in? The righteous, the righteous king ruling. Okay, which is who? Who's our king forever? King David, and above him is Yahweh.
That's it.
Okay, that's who's going to be ruling us in the kingdom. And you know who's going to be ruling with King David? You're going to have the 12 seats. You're going to have the 12 the apostles. Okay, they're going to be ruling. And what's that? Which is part of the 144,000. You've got 144,000 ruling, governing, elect members, prophets. So that's what we believe in. And you know what? You don't have to vote for that. Okay, there's not gonna be no ballot box in the kingdom where they're gonna vote for who's a new member of the elect. No, whatever you are, that's what you are. That whatever you was from the very foundation, that's what you will be. King David was already destined to be that from the very beginning. You know, that's his part to play in this in the play. Am I still here?
Yep.
Okay, cool. Yeah, voila. So pretty much, bro. You know, that's the setup, man. You know, let's keep going.
Verse 12, and he exerciseth all power of the first beast before him, and causeth
First
the
beast is
earth.
the ancient Roman Empire. Okay, the new the current beast right now is what the EU and NATO, which is based on the Roman Empire, the ancient Roman Empire. Same system. Go ahead.
Yep. And causeth the earth and them which dwell therein to worship the first beast, whose deadly wound was healed.
Deadly wound
And
was healed when in the Renaissance uh, period of time when Esau came back into power. Go ahead.
says, and he doeth great wonders, so that he maketh fire come down from heaven on the earth in the sight of men, and he deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast.
The fire. I missed that. The fire come down from heaven. Different examples. World War I, World War II, Hiroshima, Nagasaki, Vietnam. That's his military power. Go ahead.
Yep. Um. Sorry, I just lost
And
my.
deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of the miracles which he had power to do in the sight of the beast. Yeah, saying that to them on the what that they should make an image to the beast which had the wound by a sword and did live.
Mm,
But that's that image of the beast. That's those philosophies. And you know, if you look at the modern day life of how people live, you know, like we were talking about the political system just now. Okay, we got what time period we are now. Next week we're in a time period. We're going to be coming up to December 24th, 25th, and 26th. And you know what people are going to do up and down this country and over there in America? They're going to be worshipping Saturnalia,
mm,
the ancient Romans custom. Okay, the worship of Saturn. And you know what they call it today? They call it Christmas. I don't know why I'm talking like this. I'm in a mood today, man. You start getting like scoffers and stuff. Is anyway.
okay, going on.
That's how we called it for dummies, man. You know, like
Mm, mm,
you got people out there, man. We're in 2025, bro. You got you got fucking Elon Musk strapping people to chairs and putting chips in their brains.
yeah,
Like,
and
like I mean, this is for the elect anyway. I'm like, damn, man, wake, you like wake up, but wake up, Jake. But you
yeah,
know,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah.
only the elect that are gonna get it. We know that, you know.
It reminds me of They Live, man. That famous scene where he's punching, like, just put on the
Yeah, yeah,
glasses,
yeah. He
man.
was
Put on...
struggling. It was like a 7 minute scene or so. It was
It
crazy.
was.
It's a long
It
ass scene,
was.
bro. 100%. Like,
It was like that, that bloody typical Family Guy thing where it's just like they're beefing for time. That's what that scene is like, man. Just
bro, ancient prophets were ripping out hair and shit. I'm like, bro, I get it.
yeah,
I get it, man. I get it, bro. Ah, it's frustrating, bro, sometimes. Yeah,
for real, for real.
yeah, those that are gonna get it. We're gonna move on, man.
Mm.
Um, we can only tell you, we can only give you the truth. That's all we're offering, man. You know, if you can't, if you can't handle the truth, then that's on you.
That's
You
it.
know. Yeah, let's keep going, bro. We're almost there.
Yep. Yeah, so it says, verse 14, and deceiveth them that dwell on the earth by the means of those miracles which he had power to do in the side of the beast, saying to them that dwell on the earth that they should make an image to the beast
Ooh.
which had the wound by a sword and did live. It says,
When you
and he
look into
had...
that word miracle, it talks about transcending like a normal occurrence or human occurrence. In fact, can you quickly just click on that, bro? Quickly, just look, you're in Blue Arrow, innit? Just click on miracle quickly and see what it says again. Oh no, no, I don't want to butcher it. I haven't gone over it in a while. Where Esau's technology essentially is these miracles. Okay, part of that big miracle that's coming is the implantable chip from Esau technology. The way he's going to be deceiving the people with it.
Yep. So miracles, say Mayon. Says a sign, mark, token. Says that by which a person or thing is distinguished from the other and is known. A sign, prodigy, portent of signs pretending remarkable events soon to happen. Of miracles and wonders by which the Most High
Okay,
authent...
read two again, bro. Read the full thing, Bobby. Sure.
A sign, prodigy, portent, i.e., an unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature.
An unusual occurrence transcending the common course of nature. That's Esau's technological miracles.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah, that's it. Yeah, that's it on that. Yeah, let's go back. The chip is a major part of that.
Yep. So what was like verse 16, 15, right? It says, and he had
Bro,
power.
I know this is a smaller level of this, yeah. When you take a CD-ROM, right? Maybe the newer generations don't know what that is. I don't know, man. The CD-ROM, you record a favorite track. You got a favorite track. You record it from the radio or whatever, and you record it on there, right? Now you got a track. Okay, it's music. You can play that music. You've now taken audio information, put it onto a disc, and you can play that anytime you want. You take that back to the ancient world, that's going to be like some miraculous shit.
Mm.
It's Esau's technology. Now we're going to go into later in this lesson the CD-ROM, which is readable memory, and how that is also part to play in the chip build up to the chip technology. You know, yeah. Go ahead. Huh?
Yep, it says, and the Revelation 13:15, and he had power to give life unto the image of the beast, that the image of the beast should both speak and cause that as many as would not worship the image of the beast should be killed.
Right.
And
And we're gonna. There's a last little bit we're gonna touch on, and after that is the chip. Image of the beast is talking about the philosophy of the philosophies of this man system, so-called white man, is EU and NATO beast system. Okay, democracy, LGBTQ, so on and so forth. Okay, so basically, if you don't worship that, you're gonna be killed. Okay, because if you worship that, you're gonna take the chip. You're gonna be
mm,
all up into that system. Okay, the devil doesn't want people who don't want to be part of that system. Okay, go ahead.
yep, it says verse 16, and he
Now
causeth
we're gonna
all.
go into the chip. Go ahead.
Mhm.
Read the whole thing down to verse 18, and we'll go back.
Okay, so Revelation 13:16 through 18, and he causeth all, both small and great, rich and poor, free and bond, to receive a mark in their right hand or on their foreheads, and that no man might buy or sell, save he that had the mark, or the name of the beast, or the number of his name.
Hold on,
Here
hold on,
is...
hold on, hold on. So before you read verse 18, this is something that's gonna, unless you have this thing, there's gonna come a point where you are not gonna be able to buy or sell. transact. You can't go to the grocery store and buy something without this thing. Key information. Keep going, bro.
Yep, this is here is wisdom. Let him that hath understanding count the number of the beast, for it is the number of a man, and his number 600, threescore and six.
Yeah, people always see that 666. They always think of like, the movie Damien. Oh, 666. Which goes into the whole barcode system, which is all part of the payment system and the infrastructure of the mark of the beast.
Mm.
I don't know if you had anything to add on that.
No, it's when even when you look at the you said the barcode, and it's like it's annoying, man, because you'll see, oh no, the three bars they don't represent six, and then you go to the guy who created it, it's like, yeah, bro, it's a six. you know. But that's why ultimately we're the oh, what's that term? Because E likes to be the person that says whether something is true or not. I don't, it's not fact checker the word that I want, but it's like we're the authority, right? Ultimately, on these
Mm-hmm.
things,
Mm-hmm.
you know.
All right, bro. So yeah, we read that. All right, let's go back to the 16th verse and
Hmm.
read that again.
Right. So verse 16 says, "He indeed causeth all."
So who's causing all? Who's doing that? We've just read a whole lineup of information before this, right? So now we should have an idea that it's Esau, okay, his power structure, the beast system, all of that, that is going to cause, okay, the people of the earth to be tested, to take, to deceive them, to take this microchip implant, this mark of the beast, right? Go ahead, up.
Yep. It says both small and great, rich and poor,
Yeah,
free and bond.
that
To
covers
rec-
everyone. People
uh-huh.
who are in the prison system, people who are not in the prison system, people who are renowned in society, people who are not, people who got a lot of money in society, people with a lot of credits, a lot of FRNs, people that don't have a lot of FRNs. It doesn't matter. Everyone's going to get tested. Go ahead.
Yep. To receive a mark in their right hand or in their foreheads.
All right, cool. So right here, if you can just go to the word mark and just leave it on that page, and then let's cut to the clip with Aaron Russo, Bob Show.
It said as in the word for mark in the
Yeah,
yeah.
mark one. Yeah. If you just click on the Karagma word and then just leave it on that page, and then go back to and then go to the Aaron Russo thing, Bob Show. So what information do we have here? Let's break it down. Let's do a little summary, right? The person who runs the world has a god complex. Okay. The person who runs the world has all this technology given to him and is ruling the world by his technology. Right? The person who runs the world, by the way, are called, well, one of the things that they call them is the international banking elite. Banking, money, transactions. Okay. See how this is starting to piece together. Okay. Is there anything else I've missed? Uh, the whole system, how it's been set up for control, for them to rule over us, for them to be gods over us. Okay. In fact, before you get this, bro, would you quickly get a scripture about the all in Deuteronomy?
Oh,
What?
yes.
Just line it up. Just line it up, Bobby Shirt. Line up because he's gonna say something and then we'll read it.
Yep.
All right, cool. Let's play it, man. So this guy is Aaron Russo. He produced Trading Places. He's a couple. What was it? Freedom to Fascism. Was that one of the ones he did? Um, Mad as Hell. He did a couple of things where pretty much he was speaking out against certain corruptions and things of that nature in America. Okay, and he's got certain links. He was friends with Nicholas Rockefeller, which all of a sudden they're saying he doesn't exist anymore. I remember a time when he did exist. That was some years back. You could get some information on it. Back when the internet was like dark black pages with green writing and white writing.
Mm.
You could get all that information. How much gold the Rothschild supposedly had and this and that. Anyway, now you can't get it as much. Now Nicholas Rockefeller doesn't exist. It's a figment of the imagination. And that's the thing. That's in 1984. They can just
Hmm.
delete things. What? There's a word for it. I forgot the word now. Is it the Mandela effect? Is it the Mandela effect?
That's one of the things that they say, the one where it's like everyone believes that something happened.
Yeah, but then like they kind of wiped it out or something like that. Um,
Yeah, but it's something
It's a bit
that
different, isn't it? Yeah.
yeah, it's something that in the spirit I kind of keep saying that's the whole purpose of the AI, man, because you have people that do not validate any information outside of the AI.
Right.
Like we when we use it, it's like there are things that we know, right? So when we realize now I don't line up with the precepts, obviously we won't use it, right? But it's just like the AI is being used to basically rewrite information, rewrite what everyone understands to be truth, you know?
Man, there's so much information out there that we can't get anymore.
Mm-hmm.
Those who knew and those who saw, they saw. You take the witness for it. The amount of times that I've heard, okay, like the apostles, sometimes they'll talk about, which you can go into this, but like, Black's Law Dictionary or the ancient, the old lexicons and this and that. Some things have been changed. The bullet has even been changed here and there. If you've seen the change beforehand, you'll know. If you've been around, you'll know. Then you see the change. You're like, wait, they changed that.
Mm-mm-mm.
New people that come along, they're like, well, that doesn't say that. No, motherfucker, they changed that. You know, part of my language. I'm just passionate, man. I'm just about this, man. You know what I mean? I'm just like, come on, man. Let's get this.
That's right.
All right. Yeah, let's play the clip out, Bob. Sure. Sorry.
So good. So
And they want to create a new currency called the Amero, right? And the whole agenda is to create a one world government where everybody has
Which ain't nothing new.
an RFID chip implanted in them.
Antiochus tried to do that.
All
Ain't nothing new.
mm,
What do you think the Tower of Babel was all about? Antiochus tried to do that, make the world one. It's the same game. It's the same playbook. Esau is not prolific. Go ahead.
yep.
money is to be in those chips, right? There'll be no more cash. And this is getting me straight from Rockefeller himself. This is like,
Wait there. That sounds a lot like verse 17. Can't buy or sell. Go
Mm,
ahead.
they want to accomplish. And all money will be in your chips. And
So's not
instead of having cash,
He ain't prolific or original. Go ahead.
anytime you have money in your chip, they can take out whatever they want to take out whenever they want to. If they say you owe us this much money in taxes, they just deduct it out of your chip digitally.
Total control.
Total control. And if you're like me or you, and you're protesting what they're doing, they can just turn off your chip, and you have nothing. You can't buy food. You can't do anything. It's total control of the people.
And that chip's
Yeah, yeah. He was gonna say
so
something.
so no, so you I thought you was about to say something. Sorry.
I mean, it's evident. Yeah, I didn't. I want. Yeah, go ahead.
connected to a database that has your purchasing records, what you do, what you
Everything,
sell.
What is
everything is
important? It's connected to a database, so there's going to be information that is going to be held on record. That's key important. Don't forget that information because we're going to go
Yeah.
into that. Go ahead.
Yeah.
in there, you know. And so they want a one world government controlled by them, everybody being chipped, all your money in those chips, and they control the chips and they control people, and you become a slave, you become a serf to these people. That's their goal, that's their intentions.
Eric, you'd
That's
be
their goal. That is their intention. Let's hit the scripture, Bob. Sure.
Yep. Oh, you said the so this is Exodus. I'll get the one in Exodus.
So I can
That
see
is,
that.
but it's one of both. It's Exodus
Oh,
and
is it? Okay,
Deuteronomy.
okay,
Yeah,
okay.
yeah, yeah. I'm gonna jump to the point that Exodus as a whole it reads into it a bit more. But it's Exodus 21 from 5. It says, and if the servants shall plainly say, I love my master, my wife, and my children, I will not go out free. Then his master shall bring him unto the judges, and he shall bring him to the door or unto the doorpost, and his master shall bore his ear through with an awl, and he shall serve him forever.
So that was an ancient thing. You know, we're reading in Exodus that was done in order for someone to say, "Look, I love my master. I want them to be my master forever, and that's it. But mark me somehow." And that was the awe. The mark of the beast, the RFID implant, that is a digital all. Okay. And that is you basically saying, I worship the beast. I love the beast. I love my master Esau. Enslave me forever. You are my God. That is basically what you're saying by taking that chip. That is how you are subscribing. That is how you're showing your
Mm.
allegiance. Okay, when in ancient Babylon they had the psaltery, the harp, the flute, whatever, and they played it, and you had to bow down. Everyone was bowing down, and the ones that didn't bow down, they threw in a fire, which were the Shadrach, Meshach, Abednego. They didn't bow down, man. So this is the modern day not bowing down
So
by not taking that chip. We know whom we worship, and that's Yahweh Bashmi Al Shai. Okay, yeah, we're in this man system. Yeah, we got those supermarkets, this and that. But look, that is only up until a point. Okay, that's up to a point, man. When the Lord flips that switch, man, it's goal time. Number one. And number two is ultimately trust in the
mm,
Lord anyway. It's the Lord that's put spirit on people to do things for you, to help you out here and there, whatever. Okay, even in slavery, okay, they had to look after us, give us food and certain things. Okay, the Lord put a spirit on them to do that,
yeah,
right?
yeah. So yeah, so that was it with the Exodus 21 and 6.
Okay, so unless you had anything, let's go from there back to
Charagma. Yep.
Karag. Yeah.
So it's charagma in the Greek, G5480. It says a stamp and an imprinted mark of the mark stamped on the forehead or the right hand as the badge of the followers of the, what they say, Antichrist. It says the mark branded upon horses, thing carved, sculpture, graven work of idolatrous images.
So that's contrary. That says thing carved, sculptured, graven work. Right. Now there's a scripture in Acts. Is it 19 or 17? If you can get that, Bob Shaw talks about the Godhead, and it talks about the art, them making idols, basically. It's the same word, karagma. Let me look to see if I
Is
can
it,
find
if
it.
it's the same word, it should be, would you said Acts 17
Yeah, it's in Acts. I'm just trying.
and 29 for as much as we are the offspring of the Most High?
Yep. 17 and 29.
Yep.
That's right.
So this is Acts 17 and 29. For as much as we are the offspring of the Most High, we ought not to think that the Godhead is like unto gold or silver or stone, graven by art and man's device.
So go into that word graven on the blue
Yep,
letter.
G5480.
It's
Same
the
word.
same
Yep.
word, karagma, because it's a physical thing. It's something that's cut into you, cut into your flesh. When a person is using stone or whatever, and they're an artificer, they've got a chisel or whatever, it's the tool, they are physically cutting into that thing. Okay, this device is going to be cut into us. Okay, it's a physical thing. It is not a spiritual thing. You can't buy it. There's you can't sit there. You're spiritual. It's not physical or whatever. It's symbolic. Now you with that symbolic stuff, you can't buy or sell. How does that even
Mm.
make sense? You can't buy or sell. It's symbolic and this and no. It's a physical device. Without this device, which is the chip, you are not going to be able to buy or sell. Okay, there are chips. There's electronic chips in cards, in phones. They're going to have the implantable chip,
Hmm.
the bio chip for people, and that is going to be the system. They're going to get rid of all the other shit. That ain't
Yes,
going to
sir.
work no more.
And
Okay.
you got it, bro.
Sorry, go ahead, bro.
Now I
You
was
go ahead.
saying when you observe the system that is being built at the moment, this is what is being prepared, right? You see the fact that basically most countries, and as I say, it will be certain countries that are, what E will refer to as what Trump would refer to as shithole countries that have biometric passports. Here it is, the country doesn't have much else, but it has a biometric passport though, right? And therefore the infrastructure to support that. Then you look at like the countries working on the CBDC, right? What Jamaica, Nigeria, more or less already have, um, you know, I think they've got one, or the pilot is there, or something like that. But when you look once again at the world economy, right, something like countries that represent most of the world's GDP all have a CBDC in the works, more or less. Okay. And then you look into the fact that actually, people be like, oh yeah, but what about Africa? But look, Africa is so much further ahead than you would realize because they've skipped. I forgot the term for it. Brother Shax and I, Shkal and I, we went into a video going into this about how in these other countries, because they skipped a generation, they went straight into mobile money, so they're used to having mobile money as a form of payments, whereas we did the whole cash and this and that and the other. Okay, so you'd be surprised how far ahead and closer to the MOTB infrastructure some of these so-called third world countries are in comparison to somewhere like the UK, which has a lot of legacy systems. You know.
Yep. Yep. Right. Is that
Yep.
that on that? Yep. So it's a physical thing. It's carved in. Now let's go into the root word of charagma.
Yep.
So this is a physical thing. We're telling you it's the microchip implant. Okay. Uh, so the root word there should be the word karux or the word
Hmm.
charagma, which is a pale, a stake, or
So,
palisade. Can we just get an image up of one of those things up, which Google Images?
yep. What do you call it? Pale. Thing is, it's giving me skin, man. Pale,
Just
pale.
type in
There we go.
staple or palisade rampart, something like that. There you go, right? And that there, you know, you have like an edge to it, as you can see, and then
So,
it's put into the earth. Now, the system which is going to inject that chip into you, okay, that's the crux, okay, the thing that's going to actually cut in and inject into you. That's the root word of it, crux, okay, like when you stake into something, okay, like in the, them vampire
mm,
movies, the guy would put a wood stake between the vampire's heart to beat the vampire or whatever. That is what it's talking about. It's talking about the delivery system, okay, that syringe, that needle, where they're going to be putting a chip into people, okay. Now let's go on to the next root word, which the root word for this should be grapho. So we're going deeper into the word of what of the mark of the beast, the mark, right? When you get a
should I
chip.
say again, boss, sir?
Yeah, could you go into the next root word, which should be
Yep.
grapho?
So the next root word is grapho.
So we're taking a deep dive into the word mark there in Revelation 13 and 16 in the Greek,
Yep.
right?
This is to write with reference to the form of the letters, to delineate letters on a tablet, parchment, paper, or other material. To write.
When you write something down, what do? You're recording it, okay? You can record something in your brain, but you can also forget. You write something down, is easier to remember. It has a record of it. That's why when you have a contract, people don't have no, or the contract's in my brain for this house. No, you have a verb, you have a written contract. It's signed, it's sealed. Go ahead,
Yep. It says to write with reference to the contents of the writing, to express in written characters, to commit to writing, i.e., things not to be forgotten, write down, record.
Write down, record things are not to be forgotten, right? Okay. So when you do that and you record something, like for example, you have a computer, you can save things to your hard drive. It's
Hmm.
recorded. Most people use what? The cloud. They've got that email. A lot of things are in people's emails. You don't want your email to get hacked. Passwords, all kinds of things. So this is information that's recorded, right? So this device is gonna have the ability to have information recorded on it. And that information is gonna work wirelessly with the infrastructure set up around it. Why do you think they've got these 5G and so-called 6G towers being set up eventually, and so on and so forth? Why do you think they got this technology? They are setting the infrastructure up so that you are the key. You are the thing that walks around, the biological being that is being controlled with the final part in you, the final key, which is the microchip implant. Okay. Now, if you can go to ChatGPT, bro, to what we typed in earlier, and we just quickly summarize through that, just to hit the point home.
Yep. So this is a question was, what is the difference between a CD-ROM memory device and a microchip in terms of reading memory technology? Says the difference between a CD-ROM memory device and microchip, specifically in terms of how memory is read, comes down to the physical medium, reading mechanism, speed, and access method. So CD-ROM, right? It says reading technology, optical storage, and laser scans at disk surface. Data is encoded in pits and lands, tiny variations on the disk. So the laser reflects differently off pits versus lands. Refracted light is converted into digital zeros and ones.
So why is it converted to ones and zeros, which is another word for that is the binary system. That's one of the that is pretty much the original system of how you tell between different things. Is this thing on or is this thing off? Is this thing on? Is this thing off? You put enough of them together, now you can get an instruction.
Yep.
All right on that, bro. Yeah. So the water. So the information is built on this binary system. Okay. So when you record information, the CDs, like it was saying, they had certain grooves in them and certain flat surfaces. And that information that's how you'll be able to record information into a
Mm-hmm.
digital form. Okay, so that's a CD as example. I mentioned it earlier as an example of music. Go ahead. So let's go on to the memory devices. Because eventually, what started happening, I remember when we was in school, everyone started to get these flash drives. Remember
Mm-hmm.
the little USB drives, because even before CDs, what did you have? You had the
Yep.
floppy disk. Floppy disk, you had the CD drive, you had back in when they first having computers, you had those huge, massive server systems, IBM systems, and all that. You had huge rooms full of servers and system computers. You don't need that now. This is a computer.
Exactly.
It's a computer, right? And it's got a chip in it.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead,
It says memory device is a broad category. It says common electronic memory devices. For instance, you got RAM, right? You got flash memory, right? That's what the brother was referring to. This is USB drives, SSDs, right? Reading technology, electronic, non-volatile, using floating gate transistors. But ultimately, voltage levels determine whether a transistor stores a 0 or a 1.
0 or
Yeah.
1. That's the instruction.
Binary.
Yep.
This is microchip, point 3. It says integrated circuit memory. It says a microchip is the physical silicon chip that implements memory technology such as RAM or ROM or flash.
So it takes all the technology of what it had before and it adds upon it, it
Mm-hmm.
builds upon it. Okay. Right? On the higher level. So that's why you have a microchip in this. You have it in your computer. Okay. This is a powerful tool. You can get instant information, record information, pictures, videos, sound, data, all on this one device.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
It says, so a microchip is physical silicon chip itself, right? Semiconductor base and uses microscopic transistors, which we read earlier on. Just go back to zeros and ones, more or less. So that's the summary.
And then what was the next question?
This is what is the
You asked?
difference between a microchip and an implantable microchip. So,
Right. So you got the microchips in phones. What's the difference between the ones in the phones and the ones that are going to be implanted to people?
yep. So the difference between a microchip and an implantable microchip is mainly about purpose, packaging, power, and how they interact. Says not the core electronics. It says a microchip is a general term for a small integrated circuit made of silicon. And then it's an implantable one. It says an implantable microchip is a specialized microchip system designed to be safely placed inside the body, right? Commonly used for identification, medical monitoring, or access control.
So access control, medical monitoring, and identification. Right. When you go to the bank and you want to take out money, right? You want to set up an account there. What they're going to ask you for? Identification, which is set up by the
That's it.
system, the government. When you have that identification from the government, from when you were born, okay, certain ages, whatever, you have a driving license, you have a passport, whatever it might be, the government recognized identification system. Okay, it's not enough. It's not enough to go into the bank and say, I am so and so, the son of so and so of the earth. That's not enough. It's not enough to show them that your records of going back so much generations. No, you need the government's identification. So let's say you have a passport now. You go into the bank with that passport. They can ask for a proof of address where you live at that present time. You prove that to show that you are a member of society. Okay, that was worthy of having a bank account, and that's called KYC, which stands for Know Your Customer. Okay, you set up the bank account now, and that bank account is now you get issued a card, a debit card, a checkbook, whatever it might be, whatever time period you're in. The point is now that money that you have, that digital currency, right? Can you still hear me? I
Yep.
was getting a call. Cool. Is linked to your identification. So your money is linked to your identification. When you have cash, no one has to know who that is. That's why they want to catch society. That's why they're pushing cash out. That's why more and more transactions are done by debit card and credit card and online.
That's it. And then you
Right?
made a point earlier on about the cloud, right? Which was an
Yep.
important point because back in the day, all of this information was stored locally, right? But because one of the points it says here, right, key characteristics of an implantable microchip is encapsulated in biocompatible material, right? So basically, it does your body doesn't reject it, right? But pursuant to the precepts, we know that you still end up with a grievous sore, right? It's typically passive, right, but limited memory and functionality, right? And people say, "Oh, how's it going to have all of the information if it's not got a lot of memory?" Now, one is like the technology they have now, right? You can store a lot in a little bit of in a small microchip, right? However, it's like when you go to the bank or and you give in your or rather to the ATM, that you put your card in. Does your card have every little transaction that you've ever made? No, but it has an identifier that allows you to access the network. Okay, you know.
When you go to a shop, they have a payment
Mm,
option system. That little device that is connected to the internet. Okay, that is connected to a payment center like Visa or Mastercard. Who there's an authorization code on the payment you make. This person, this identification on this card, on this chip, made a payment with this authorization code at this place at this time. Any real estate
hmm
shows you that. Was it Gene Hackman was telling Will Smith, don't be using no cards or nothing,
That's
because they
it.
can track you.
It to back the brother up. That's how South Korea did contact tracing during COVID. They were just like, well, this card was used at this place at the same time of a COVID case. Therefore, this individual should also quarantine.
Yep, yep. So it's control, it's tracking
Hmm.
your money,
Yeah.
your medical, everything's going to be on the chip. All that information is going to be on there, but as a brother's saying, it's going to be linked to some server or database, like they were talking about Baron Russo, okay, where everything's going to
Hmm.
connect. It's going to connect to
Exactly.
something.
And this is it. This is same way with the CV. They brought out new technology that they said, "Oh, actually, we've been working on this for ages." Right? Don't be surprised if they would come up with some, peak because you can't just look at technology as like what they have and they're showing you right now. Right? These devils, scriptures talk about their heart is deep. These devils have been planning this for a very, very long time. you know. So don't be surprised if they're coming out and then they just, some new, space age, technology. Because one reason I say that is when you watch a lot of E's films, right, James Bond comes to mind. Like at the end of the most recent James Bond, how do you know that he's fully dead? Because they go to the mission control and all of the signals for his vitals turn off, right? So what was that showing you? That was showing you that he had some kind of device that was able to monitor all of his vitals and then send that across for monitoring somewhere. Okay. But that's it. It's like, we'll see exactly, we know the technology is there, and but we're very, and we're watching the system for the technology being put together, right? All of these biometric terminals everywhere, right? All of these what do you call it, bank, a lot of cash machines, ATMs now, right? You don't even need to put your card in. You can just use the contactless feature, right? Showing you what, that they're preparing for a world for this already, you know?
Think of if you want to know one of the things that like how they want to implement that technology with their databases and servers, look no further than Palantir as an
Exactly.
example. You know, you want to look at what Palantir does. Google it, that company, and you see it's all about data and how to control it. You know, any more on this, bro?
Uh,
Oh, the time thing,
yeah,
how
so
long
how
they
long
last.
they last? It says how long are human implantable microchips supposed to last for?
We take this with a pinch of salt because this is technology that they're constantly
Exactly.
working on,
This is what they're allowing us to see, right? So expect.
and this is what they remember because we ain't going to be around when all
Mm,
the chips is out there. This is what they want to set it up as because like you said, they've been planning
yeah.
this for a long time,
It's expected
right?
lifespan 20 to 50 years, often described as lifetime.
Right. So, um, yeah, man, that's what this devil wants to do. It's a physical thing. It is the implantable chip. We already got companies like Neuralink doing it. Now, companies before them, those are other companies. Sweden, people were chipped all around, and it's going to become more and more talked about, more and more pushed by celebrities, by governments, and different things like that. It's going to be
Hmm.
pushed, man. Private sector. Okay, this is the mark of the beast. This is the big test. And you mentioned something beautiful earlier. You mentioned the saw, the grievous saw,
Mm.
right? How are you going to get a grievous saw from something symbolic, man?
Yeah, yeah, that's a good point.
You're going to have something. People are going to be fussing out. Like you got like people that are watching these people that are these Captain Tazariak and this and that, right? People that are watching these people, look, don't be fooled. If you're sitting there and you're asking questions like, "What is this mark of the beast? Why does GMS say it's this and that?" Look, this is why we're telling you. Don't be fooled by that. Okay. What? How did he explain the grievous saw? Is that symbolic too? People are going to be literally getting pus out of their hands, radiating, man, because of this technology. But yeah, man. I think we hit the points, man. And do you have anything you want to say on it?
Yeah, let me real quick, because I asked, just as a just for my understanding anyway, it says, could you use the body to power the chip? So yes, the human body can be used to power a chip, but only in very limited ways. What's possible depends on how much power is needed, right? So it says body heat as an example, but it can only do low duty cycle sensors, very slow data transmission, and obviously,
Sorry, one of the things, by the way, yeah, I forgot to add this. Salakia, I
sorry.
didn't mean to cut you off, bro. But um, Salakia, um, before I forget the point, um, when I did the Chat GPT search, we couldn't find that one again. But one of the things it said is that the difference between an implantable chip and a chip in the computers is that they're electronic chips designed to connect it to a circuit, a CPU or something, whereas an implantable chip was designed to connect to neurons, right? Like if
Mm.
you put a brain chip, they're meant to connect to neurons, and that's why we hear about this guy start to disconnect from his neurons.
Yes.
You actually want to control someone's brain neurons, their synapses, the things that make them
Hmm.
tick. That's total control. You want to have control over their brain, how they.
That's
That's, you know
it.
what I mean.
The
That guy's a devil, man. He's got a god complex. He wants to
That's
control
it. So
stuff.
that's going into what's referred to specifically as brain computer interfaces, BCIs. There's brothers going into those ones that are tapping into your systems and this, that, and the other. One of the things that what's his face said, Musk said, was these thing is going to be able to Neuralink is going to be able to what's the word? With Neuralink, you'll be able to treat depression. And then from the time you read that and you hear that, you're like, wait there. So if you could treat it, that means you could create it. That means you can control other emotions. Like for instance, the raging bull.
No. Hmm.
You got it.
Now I was just thinking when you said that, I was just thinking there's some guy somewhere sitting by a server, load the happy pill or something. Load happypill.exe. And just load into the brain. Like the Matrix. I want to learn how to drive a helicopter. Just, that and people are gonna be like deceived by that.
Hmm.
Oh, ooh, he's gonna do that. Ooh. Look, man, that shit is there to control you. You're gonna get a pus, grievous sore, and then you're gonna get
That's
nuked
it.
if you take that
That's
shit.
it.
By the way, what happens when you take the chip is in Revelation the 14th chapter. Okay, you're gonna die.
Simples.
Okay. Sorry, bro.
No,
What
no,
you
just the
say?
simples.
Yeah. So, man, hey, Lord willing, this was an edifying lesson. In the spirit and power of Yahweh Shemiel Shabash and Makakadash. Hopefully, we covered it pretty well in the spirit. And again,
Double
this
honors.
is our apostles and elders, taught the truth. All right. Yeah, man. With that, man, we're gonna
Shalom,
say shalom.
shalom, shalom.